Welcome to EPG Pathshala in the subject of information technology and in the paper of open source software. In this module, we will discuss some other functions or programming support that is provided by R. This module is in continuation with the previous module. In the previous module, we introduced what is R, what are the different data types, data structures that were provided by R. In this module, our learning objectives will be, we will see how to write programs in R, we will see how to deal with files using R, we will also see how to create user defined functions and how to create plots using R. So, in this module, you will be able to create small basic programs using the R environment. Now, let us move with the discussion of this module. Let us see, in the screen we have created a sample program, we can call this a script file. So, what you are required to do, you will type this commands in a single file with an extension .r. So, it can be simple.r or it can be first program.r. Now, let us see line by line what is this program. The first line contains hash, this is the comment. So, when we are writing program, R uses hash sign to create comments. Over here, I am creating 3 variables, subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, and I am assigning values to these variables. The next line contains total. So, I am performing addition of these 3 variables and the output or the values of this will be stored in the variable total. By typing print total, it will display the total of these values. And further, if I want to calculate the percentage, I will use total by 3, this is the division sign. So, it will calculate the percentage or it will do the average of marks for the 3 subjects, and finally, I am printing the percentage. So, this is a very basic program. Here I have used operators, I have not used any internal data structure of R, we have simply created variables. There is no need to identify this as integer, float, double and so on as in C. And when we execute this, we type the command R script and file name. So, whatever we have typed in the file will be executed on our R prompt. You can alternatively use R Studio to type these files and you can click on the run button using R Studio. So, let us move to another program. This is the first basic program. Now, when we see the second program, it will contain decision making, loops and functions. So, let us begin with decision making. This is the syntax of decision making. If condition can be used for decision making. So, we say if whatever test expression will be there and the set of statements that can be executed. We can also use else along with the if part. So, it can be if the test expression, set of statements, else and another set of statements. So, R supports if else, if else if else and so on. Now, here one thing must be noted, the ending bracket must be in the same line of else. If you place enter over here and if the else part is over here, there might be errors. So, it is always advisable that whatever is the beginning bracket, it can go with the statements and the ending bracket must always be in the line of else statement. Let us see a program that uses decision making. Now, this is a sample program. In this program, we store the value -12 in the variable x. We have a condition whether x is greater than 0 or not. So, if x is greater than 0, the environment will print non-negative, else it will print negative number. As I said, again I am telling this that the bracket sign must be in the lines of else, the closing bracket of if must be in the lines of else, otherwise you will get errors. So, this is a very simple decision making program. You can type this program in a script file and you can execute this. This syntax is quite common or similar to the C programs. Let us see one more program. Now, this is the while loop. The syntax of while will be while test expression and set of statements. Let us see an example. here the value of I is the value of I is 1. So, we initialize the value of I with 1, then there is while loop while I is less than 11. So, we will iterate for 10 times, and within this loop we have used print function. This print function will print the values of I one by one, and we are incrementing the value of I plus 1 and so on. So, if the loop iterates for 10 times, we will get the values 1 to 10 in our output. The print function will display the output on our console. So, this is how we can use while along with the R environment. Again, you can type a separate program for this set of commands. Let us see another loop. Now, R also supports for loop. This is somewhat different from C. The for loop contains values in sequence. So, there is no starting or ending point as in C, but we give a sequence over here. A set of values will be sequence, and our val or the loop iterator will take each value one by one in our sequence, and for each sequence the statement will be executed. Let us see a sample program. Here we create an array or create a vector of certain values 1, 2, 3 up to 8. So, we have created a vector of x, we initialize count with 0, and here this is the for loop. Now, what does this indicate? For values in x. So, the x will contain all these 8 values, and our loop will iterate for 8 times. For each value it will iterate once. So, for the first time the val variable will contain 1, another time it will contain 2, 3 and so on. Within this for loop I have written another code. If value is divisible by 2, count plus plus, that is we increment the count by 1. So, here we are counting the numbers that are divisible by 2. The output will be 4, because the values that are divisible by 2 are 2, 4, 6 and 8. There are total 4 values that are divisible by 2. So, this is how we can use for loop. Again, I would like to repeat, the for loop of R is bit different from the for loop that is used in C. In C, we have starting ending values. Here, there is a sequence, the variables will be sequence of values, and for each variable for loop will iterate once. Let us move ahead. There are notion like break within the loop. So, by saying break, loop will skip this part for this particular condition. Over here, I am taking a loop for 15 values, my loop will iterate 15 times, but if the value is 13, it will break. So, when you use this program, you will be able to see the values from 1 to 12, and then the loop will be break and it will come out. There is another notion which is quite different from break, that is next. So, in the next slide, there is a next notion in R. What does this indicate? When the value is 13, it will not be processed and the loop will be skipped. So, within this loop it will display all values from 1 to 15, but 13 will not be processed. So, the output will contain all values, it will not contain the value of 13. Next means it will jump to the next value. So, this is how break and next can be used within R. Let us see few other programming constructs. Now, here there is a sample program. This program will check whether a number is prime or not. There are a lot of things which can be discussed in this program. First, here prompt means our environment will prompt to enter some number. The user will ask to enter some number on the command prompt. Whatever number will be entered will be read by the R environment. So, there is a read line function. The read line will read the value of number in your R environment. Again, the number has to be converted to integer if we want to process it. So, there is as.integer which will convert the number into integer, whatever is entered, and will be stored in the num variable. For simplicity, we take another variable flag, that is 0. you might be aware of the logic for prime numbers. The prime number is a number that is divisible by 1 or itself. So, there is condition, if number is greater than 1, then we go ahead, we take the loop. So, this is for loop. Here I will be our loop variable, the for loop will iterate for I number of times, which contains values from 2 to num minus 1. So, this is the range. My for loop will iterate from starting from 2, it will take values 2, 3, 4 and so on up to the num that we have entered minus 1, and this is the logic to check whether a number is prime or not. If the number is divisible by I, then we simply say flag is 0 and break. The flag will indicate whether a number is prime or it is not prime. The same program is continuing. You can see there is a special case for num, value is 2, and finally, when we say if flag is 1, we say the number is prime or the number is not prime. To display two things at a time, that is the value of number and this string, we use paste function. Paste is another function that is available in R. So, when you want to display series of strings at the same time, we can use paste and within bracket we can supply the arguments. So, this is the program which will indicate whether a number is prime or not prime. You can try out the program in your R environment. It is a combination of for loop and if condition within R environment. Let us move ahead. This is an example of using CSV files in R. CSV is comma separated values. So, first let us see what is this input.csv file. You might need to create input.csv file to process this program. Now, what is this input.csv? A CSV file contains comma separated values. For instance, as I said, there is a salary file of employee database. So, we can have columns like employee ID, employee number, employee name, salary, date of joining and so on. It can be an Excel file. You can create Excel file or you can type on the command prompt, but when we say CSV means it is comma separated values. Now, if we are typing in Excel or spreadsheet package, what we can do is we can save as CSV format. Your spreadsheet files can be saved as CSV format, the extension will be .csv. You can open these files on command prompt, it will be set of values separated by commas. So, there will be a two-dimensional structure contains rows and columns, and the columns are separated by commas. The header may contain field names and for each row there will be records. So, if you want to read CSV file, there is a special function in R through which you can read the CSV or comma separated value files. The same is also applicable to Excel files, JSON file, XML file and so on. But as of now, we will focus on the CSV file. So, let us see on the screen. What you can see is, first we have used the read.csv function. This is the R function that can be used to read CSV files. Then I am printing some values. It prints whether whatever is the data frame that is being created, will print the number of columns, number of rows for the data that is read from the CSV file. There is a notion of using data $salary. If salary is our column name, we can display the salary of each employee using the data $salary, and we can also calculate the maximum of salary for all employees. So, the maximum of salary can be calculated and it can be stored in the sal variable. Similarly, there is a function subset. We can retrieve the subset of our input.csv file. So, this subset function will get the subset from this using the maximum salary, and it will be stored in this retval variable, and finally, we can display the value of retval variable, or over here you can also display the value of sal variable. So, the thing that we have to remember over here, the read.csv is a function which can be used to process CSV files. Similarly, there are functions to process Excel files or to process XML files, JSON files and so on, for which you may require additional packages which may not be in your default environment. Now, let us move ahead with the discussion. Let us see what is a function and how to use functions in R. First, let us see why we require functions. Suppose I am writing a program in which I am using my customized functions. For example, I want to calculate BMI, body mass index of different people. My Excel file may contain values like height and weight. Using the height and weight, I want to calculate the BMI values of all employees from my Excel file or CSV file. So, I need to create a function. Function is a set of commands which will work as a task. So, for separate tasks we can create separate functions. The function creation is quite similar to C or maybe Java or any other programming language. A little bit change in the syntax is there. Let us see what is the syntax. As you can see on the screen, we are creating a function using the function keyword which may take arguments. There can be set of arguments. There are bracket signs within which there can be statements or the commands that are executed when the function is called, and there can be return statement which returns values if required. So, when we create a function, the function will be given name my function. So, this is the name of function. This is kind of variable. You can give any name to your function, and the body of function will be over here. The statements return type will be the body of function, and your function when it is created it will be my function. So, let us see a program to clarify what is over here. Here I am creating a function. The program has two parts. First part I am creating a function, another part I am invoking that function. So, here I am creating a function that is my function. This my function takes argument. So, here at the bottom I am invoking my function and the argument is 5. Now, let us see what this function is doing. Whenever I pass 5, the value will go in this a variable. A will take the value 5, and within this function body I am taking a for loop. There is I variable, this is loop variable which will take values from 1 to 5, and for each value the loop will iterate, and b is another variable which will calculate the square of values of a. So, for the first it will calculate 1 square, for another loop it will calculate 2 square, 3 square and so on, and we are printing the values of b. So, this is kind of square function. It will calculate the square of values from 1 to 5. So, it will the output will be 1 square, 2 square, 3 square up to 5 square. So, this is an example of using functions in R where we are passing a single argument, and this is how we can invoke function using the function name, and you can pass the argument, the function will be invoked. Both these can be part of a single file. So, if I am creating a sample.r file, I can include all these statements from first to the last in my sample.r, and I can invoke this program. Let us see another code which contains functions. Here I am creating a function called check. So, check is a function. The function body is up to this ending bracket, and to invoke this function I can use check and I can pass some argument. Now, this function is returning result. So, when I say print check, it will return the result whatever is it. So, what we are doing in this function, we are passing some variable over here, it will be an argument to the function, and we are classifying whether the value is positive, negative or 0. So, the body of check function contains different if conditions. If x is greater than 0, positive is stored in result. If x is less than 0, the string negative is stored in result, else the string 0 is stored in result, and finally, we are returning the result variable to the calling part of this function. Here we have used else if. So, there is if condition, else if, and finally, there is else part of the conditional statements. You may also try out this program. You can type all these lines in a single file, say sample2.r, and you can execute this entire file. You can try out various values of phi. You can type 5, you can type -5, you can type 0, and you can see how the output will differ. Now, as I discussed earlier, R supports graphics. We can create good number of charts, quite good visual representations using R. R supports variety of charts. It supports line charts, scatter plots, box plots, and so on. There are different functions for different charts. The benefit of using R is we can customize a lot when we are using graphics. So, for example, I can specify the x axis, y axis, I can specify the legend, I can change the color, and everything can be using the function names. If it is a spreadsheet package like Excel or Calc, what we are supposed to do? We have to go to that chart, we can click on it and we can modify the values. For a programmer, it may not be a good alternative. A programmer will always wish that he will write commands and the chart will be created. I can create a horizontal bar chart, vertical bar chart. I can simply modify the arguments of the function and the chart will be created accordingly. As of now, we will see only a single chart, how a chart is created and what kind of chart can be created. You can exercise with different functions. You can go through the R manual. There are various functions available. You can alter variables and you can get different kind of charts. So, as you can see on the screen, R can support box plots, scatter plots, line graphs, pie charts, bar charts, histograms, and many other charts. For each, there are different functions. For example, let us see how box plots can be created. So, this is the function that can be used to create a box plot, and the bottom part of the screen contains output. I have used a common screen. This is the output of my box plot, and these are certain values or the arguments that are passed to the box plot function. Now, box plots are very interesting. First, let us understand what is this. You can see there is number of cylinders on x axis, miles per gallon on y axis, miles per gallon on y axis, and there is box plot. For the value 4, we get some kind of box. For the value 6, when the number of cylinders are 6, we get some kind of box plot, and so on. Now, when we consider a single box, this line contains minimum value, this line contains maximum value. The box, there is first quarter or first quartile, this is third quartile, and the dark line in between, it is median. So, this is a box plot from a data set which is about cars. Cars I have already discussed. There is a data set empty cars which is already present in the R environment. So, to create a box plot, I am using the data set empty cars, and I will consider two columns, miles per gallon and cylinder. So, this is my y axis, miles per gallon, and number of cylinders will be my x axis. So, the first part contains the x and y axis data, the column names. I am providing the data set, then I am giving labels. What will be the label on x axis, what will be the label on y axis, and the title mileage data. This is the title that is being typed over here. So, using this box plot function, we can create a good box plot, and you can see if there are cars with 4 cylinders, we get one box. If there are cars with 6 cylinders, we get another box, and so on. For engineers, it might be interesting that the when the number of cylinders increase, the miles per gallon or the average will decrease. So, the mileage will decrease if the number of cylinders increase, and you can see or you can easily compare different values using box plots. So, I hope you have appreciated the usage of box plot function. The same kind of chart if you try to create in spreadsheet package, it will be very difficult. So, let us summarize what we have seen in this module. In starting part, we introduced how to create simple programs, how to use loops, if conditions. Loops can be while loop, it can be for loop, how to use break or next statement if you want to skip from a loop. Then we have seen how to use functions, user defined functions. If you are creating a large program, you might need to break it into subtasks, and for each subtask you may create functions. Functions are almost similar to C, where you pass arguments and the functions can also return the values. We have seen couple of programs using functions. And finally, I introduced to the graphics part of R. R supports wide range of graphics. There are various plots or line charts, pie charts which can be created using R, and for each graphic there are different functions. For example, there are functions for histogram, box plot, simple plot, there are the functions. So, you can use different functions to create graphics. Other additional parts are, using the graphics part, you can save your chart as PNG or JPEG file. There are different ways to save the chart as JPEG file, maybe some other file format, or you can also give printable files. So, this was the second module of R. In the first module, we got an introduction of R. Second module, we tried to do different programming practices in R. I hope you enjoyed the modules of R. Please do experiment, and I hope you will be appreciating by using different data sets, and you can do lot of data analytics using R. Thank you so much. Looking forward to see you in the next module.